It begins on an ordinary morning, the kind that looks calm from the outside, yet somewhere inside you, a quiet storm brews. The alarm hums, the phone glows, messages stack like demands. And before you've even stood up, the world has already claimed your attention. You scroll, you compare, you remember what you haven't done, what someone said, what could go wrong, and something in your chest tightens. You tell yourself it's fine, that you're fine, but deep down you sense it, that fragile space between peace and pressure. You've lived there for so long, it almost feels normal. You rush through the day, a driver cuts you off, your boss sends another message with urgent in the subject line. Someone you care about snaps at you, and you feel that familiar surge, the pull to react, to defend, to prove, to control. It's subtle but sharp, like a spark hitting dry leaves. One careless thought, and you're burning again. You wonder why it keeps happening, why calm feels temporary, why positivity feels like work. You meditate one day and break down the next. You read quotes about peace, and then lose it in the same hour. You tell yourself to breathe, but the breath feels shallow, mechanical, disconnected from your heart. Maybe that's why you're here now, listening, hoping for something deeper than cliché, hoping to remember what calm actually feels like. Because calm isn't just the absence of noise. It's a kind of power, the power to stand in the middle of chaos and still choose who you are. You've seen glimpses of it before, that moment in a storm when everything slows down. The second before you speak, when you realize silence will say more. The time you smiled instead of retaliating, not out of weakness, but because you saw through the illusion. That's calm. That's clarity. That's strength disguised as stillness. But the truth is, most people never live there for long. The world keeps pulling you back, into arguments that don't matter, comparisons that drain you, problems that replay in loops. You keep reacting to life instead of responding to it. It's like being trapped inside a house of mirrors. Everywhere you turn, your own emotions are reflected back, distorted, exaggerated, endless. You try to fix the reflections, not realizing they come from you, and the more you fight them, the more they multiply. You start to believe the lie that peace is fragile, that one wrong event, one harsh word, one bad day can take it away. You start protecting your calm instead of strengthening it. You avoid people who challenge you. You chase positivity like a drug, something you have to keep topping up. But calm was never meant to be protected. It was meant to be expressed. When you truly understand this, something changes. You stop asking, how can I stay calm? And start asking, what shakes me and why? That's where the real work begins. Because calm isn't a technique. It's a relationship with reality. Most of us grew up learning how to survive, not how to stay still. We were told to hurry, to compete, to push through discomfort. Calm was treated like a luxury, something you earn after the work is done, after you fix yourself, after the noise quiets down. But look closer. The people who move through life with genuine peace, they don't wait for the storm to pass. They carry stillness into it. You've probably seen it. The athlete at the free throw line, blocking out the crowd's roar. The surgeon in the operating room, heartbeat steady while others panic. The parent who kneels to their child's eye level instead of yelling back. The calm ones aren't lucky, they're trained. They've trained their mind to stay centered when the world spins. And you can too. But first, you have to understand the trap, the human loop that steals your calm over and over again. You wake up every day believing your emotions are caused by circumstances, that if people were kinder, if life were fairer, if plans went right, you'd finally be peaceful. But that illusion gives your power away, because if calm depends on the outside world, you'll spend your life chasing control. Control of people, timing, outcomes. And control is the enemy of peace. You felt it before, that tightness in your jaw when things don't go as planned. That rush of thoughts trying to rewrite the past. That exhaustion from playing both victim and hero in your own story. It's the same cycle, repeating. You're not broken. You're just wired for survival. Your brain was built to spot threats, not to appreciate sunsets. It evolved to keep you alive, not happy. But in today's world, the threats aren't lions. They're emails, opinions, memories, and possibilities, and the brain reacts to them the same way. That's why staying calm feels like swimming upstream. But here's the revelation, the truth that shifts everything. What if calm isn't something you find? What if it's something you return to? You were born calm. Every child is. Watch a baby laugh, cry, then laugh again. No resentment, no overthinking. The emotion comes, it passes, and they return to stillness. They don't identify with the storm. They feel it and let it go. That's your original state. That's what life has buried under layers of thought, memory, and resistance. So the journey to staying calm and positive isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the noise. And to remember, you have to unlearn the reflex to react, unlearn the need to win every argument, unlearn the belief that you must always be strong, because calm isn't about suppression. It's about presence. Imagine walking into a storm, not to fight it, but to feel it. The wind howls, the rain stings, but instead of resisting, you observe. You realize the storm can't touch what's inside you. It can only make noise around it. That's the shift, the inner turning point, the beginning of mastery. From this moment on, your task isn't to control the storm. It's to master your response to it. And that mastery begins with awareness. Every time you pause before reacting, you're training your mind. Every time you breathe through tension, you're reclaiming your power. Every time you choose peace when chaos invites you to fight, you're rewiring your entire nervous system. That's how the calm ones do it. Not through denial, but through awareness. They see everything, but they don't become everything they see. So now, let's walk this road together, step by step, through the art of staying calm and positive in life. Not as an escape from reality, but as a deeper engagement with it. You'll learn that calm isn't the absence of emotion. It's emotion, refined. That positivity isn't blind optimism. It's choosing light, even when you see the dark. And that peace isn't the end of the fight. It's the beginning of freedom. You start to notice it first, in small moments. The pause before a reaction. The silence before a reply. That second when you could explode. But you don't. It feels strange at first. Almost wrong, because for so long, reacting was how you proved you cared, how you defended yourself, how you felt alive. But this time, you breathe. You let the noise pass through you instead of clinging to it. And something shifts. You start to understand that calm isn't cold. It's conscious. The first lesson on this climb is awareness. You can't master what you can't see. When you're angry, when you're anxious, when you feel the weight of everything, don't rush to fix it. Watch it. Feel the texture of it. Where does it live in your body, your chest, your jaw, your stomach? Because emotion is energy looking for direction, and if you don't direct it, it directs you. Think of Michael Jordan in the final seconds of a game. The crowd screaming, the defenders closing in, the pressure crushing, yet his heartbeat stays steady. He doesn't deny the tension. He uses it. He transforms adrenaline into focus, fear into clarity. That's awareness in motion. That's the first step toward unshakable calm. When you're aware, you become the witness instead of the victim. You begin to understand that not every thought deserves your belief. Not every emotion deserves your action. You observe. You breathe, you choose, and in that gap between trigger and response, you find freedom. The second lesson is acceptance. It sounds soft, but it's not. Acceptance is one of the hardest disciplines of the mind. It doesn't mean giving up. It means seeing things as they are before deciding what to do, because resistance is what multiplies pain. Something goes wrong. You wish it hadn't. Someone betrays you. You replay it for days. You lose something. You hold on to the loss. But what if you could accept, not approve, but accept, that life unfolds in ways you can't control? It's what the Stoics understood. centuries ago. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters." And he was right. The calmest souls in history weren't those who avoided pain. They were those who looked it in the eye and said, "You don't decide who I am." Acceptance isn't passive. It's power. In disguise, it says, "I don't need to fight reality. I'll work with it." When Serena Williams lost a crucial match early in her career, the cameras caught her smile. Not the forced kind, but the one that said, "I'll be back." That's acceptance. The understanding that setbacks don't define you, your response does. So when life throws you something unexpected, pause. Let go of the why me and breathe into what now. Because calm doesn't mean nothing moves you. It means nothing controls you. The third lesson is gratitude. It sounds cliché until you truly live it. Gratitude isn't about ignoring pain. It's about refusing to let pain blind you to what's still beautiful. When everything feels heavy, gratitude anchors you when you can't see the way forward. Gratitude gives you sight. Every breath, every sunrise, every person who ever showed you kindness. That's fuel, not to escape reality, but to remember it's not all darkness. Gratitude rewires your brain. Literally, neuroscience shows that focusing on appreciation strengthens neural pathways linked to calm, empathy, and joy. It's like lifting weights for the soul. Think of Elon Musk sleeping on factory floors, facing criticism from every direction, yet staying focused on possibility. Gratitude for the mission, not comfort, kept him moving. So when negativity creeps in, try this. Stop. Name one thing you're grateful for right now, even if it's small. Your breath, your resilience, your awareness. Say it softly. Feel it. You'll notice the storm loses strength because gratitude and anxiety can't occupy the same space. One has to leave. The fourth lesson is detachment, the quiet art of letting go without losing love. Most of your suffering doesn't come from what happens. It comes from how tightly you hold on to plans, to people, to outcomes you expect, you attach. You define your worth by things you can't fully control. And when life shifts, as it always does, you crumble. But detachment isn't indifference. It's clarity. It's realizing that your peace can coexist with uncertainty, that you can love deeply without needing possession, that you can care without collapsing. Watch the ocean for a moment. The waves crash, then recede. Constant motion, yet endless calm underneath. That's detachment. Not stagnant, but stable. Kobe Bryant once said, "The moment you give up is the moment you let someone else win." But what he meant wasn't just persistence. It was emotional discipline. The ability to stay locked in when everything around you demands reaction. He didn't cling to the outcome. He trusted the work. That's detachment in practice. So when you face loss, failure, or rejection, don't resist the pain. Observe it, breathe through it, and let it pass through your awareness. Like wind through an open window, you'll find that nothing breaks you when you no longer fear breaking, because calm is not fragile. Attachment is. The fifth and final lesson of this climb is alignment, living in harmony with what matters. Most people chase positivity by pretending, smiling, while burning inside, saying, "I'm fine," when they're falling apart. But real positivity isn't denial. It's alignment between your thoughts, your words, and your actions. When your inner world and outer world match, peace becomes natural. You no longer waste energy hiding or performing. You move through life lighter, freer, authentic. You've probably met people who radiate that kind of calm. Not loud, not overly cheerful, just grounded. They're not trying to be positive. They simply are, because they're aligned. To reach that level, you have to ask, does my life reflect what I truly value? If the answer is no, don't judge. Realign, change direction, not identity. Imagine a compass. No matter how lost you get, when you stop and breathe, it points back to north. That's your inner calm, always there, waiting for you to look up. Alignment doesn't demand perfection, only honesty, because when you stop pretending, positivity becomes effortless. These lessons, awareness, acceptance, gratitude, detachment, alignment, they're not steps to rush through, they're practices, and every practice begins again. Each day, you'll wake up tomorrow, and life will still test you. People will still disappoint you. Plans will still fail, but you'll notice that you don't break as easily. The storm doesn't vanish. You just stop mistaking it for your identity. You realize that calm isn't a mood, it's a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And that's when life starts to change quietly. You stop chasing happiness, and it starts to follow you. You stop reacting to negativity, and it loses its grip. You stop needing control, and somehow things start to flow. That's the beauty of the climb. It doesn't lead to a mountaintop. It leads back to yourself. And yet, even as you learn these truths, life will test them. Because wisdom means nothing until it's tested in the fire. And that's where we go next, into the storm itself. But there comes a day when all the lessons you've learned are called into question. A day that doesn't go as planned. A phone call you didn't expect. A silence that feels heavier than words. You wake up ready to stay calm, and the universe seems determined to test you. The traffic, the noise, the misunderstandings, they all pile up. Someone close to you says something cruel. A plan you've worked on for months falls apart, and that fragile thread of calm you've built begins to tremble. You feel it again, the tightening, the heat in your chest, the voice whispering, "See, you can't do this. You'll never change." That's the storm. The moment when everything you've practiced is challenged by life itself. The mind races, emotions surge, and the old reflexes call you back. React, defend, collapse. But you pause. You close your eyes. You remember the awareness you trained, the acceptance you practiced, the gratitude you've built, and you breathe. Not perfectly, not peacefully, but intentionally. You start to see the truth. Calm isn't about never falling. It's about remembering your way back faster each time. Every time you return, you grow stronger. Every time you fail, you learn the shape of your strength. And as the storm rages, something incredible happens. You realize the storm was never outside of you. It was inside. Your thoughts, your resistance, your fears, spinning, clashing, demanding attention. But now you stand in the center, and the wind doesn't own you anymore. You let the anger pass through. Like rain, you let the fear tremble and dissolve. You let the noise fade until all that remains is silence. And in that silence, there's peace. Not the fragile kind, but the earned kind. The peace that comes from knowing you don't need everything to go right to feel whole. You open your eyes. The world hasn't changed, but you have. You don't need to win every battle anymore, because calm has become your victory. You don't need to force positivity, because it flows from the truth you live by. You walk through the same streets, meet the same people, face the same chaos, but your energy is different. You're not reacting. You're responding. You're not rushing. You're present. You're not surviving. You're living. There's a moment, quiet, small, when you realize that all along, the point of calm wasn't to escape the world. It was to stand fully in it, unshaken. That's what strength really is. Not the loud, aggressive kind, but the kind that looks the storm in the eye and smiles softly because you've seen it before, and you know it passes. It always passes. Now you start to notice beauty again. The way sunlight hits the pavement, the sound of your own footsteps, the warmth in a stranger's smile. You notice that peace isn't something you chase. It's something you notice when you slow down. And positivity isn't something you fake. It's something that grows when you stop feeding negativity. You start saying, "Thank you" more often. Even to the moments that didn't go your way, you start forgiving faster, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. You start seeing problems, not as punishments, but as invitations to practice your calm. And the more you do this, the more natural it becomes, like a muscle that no longer strains to lift. It just moves, like a melody. Your heart remembers. You realize that staying calm and positive in life is not a destination. It's a discipline. It's showing up each day with presence, patience, and perspective. It's learning that not everything needs your reaction, that not every battle deserves your energy. That silence often says more than anger ever could. You start living slower, but deeper. You speak less, but mean more. You see clearer, love wider, feel lighter. One evening, you sit in stillness. No phone, no music, no distraction. You listen to your breath, and for the first time in a long time, you feel at home within yourself. That's the quiet victory, the one no one else will see, but you'll feel in every heartbeat. The victory of having mastered your own reactions, your own energy, your own mind. You finally understand staying calm and positive doesn't make you detached from life. It makes you more alive, because when the noise fades, the world becomes sharper. The colors, the faces, the details. Everything glows again. You're not numb. You're awake. And in that awareness, positivity stops being a strategy. It becomes your nature. You look back at all the times you lost control, and you don't feel shame anymore. You see lessons. You see progress. You see a story, yours, written not in perfection, but in growth, because every outburst taught you peace. Every disappointment taught you patience. Every heartbreak taught you gratitude. And now you walk with a different rhythm, not rushing toward calm, but carrying it with you. You've become what you were searching for. The calm in the chaos, the light in the dark, the center in the spin. You don't chase positivity anymore. You radiate it. You don't wait for the world to change. You bring peace into it. That's what this journey was about, all along. And even though you'll forget again, you'll lose it, break it, rebuild it. Every time you return, you'll return faster, because calm is no longer something outside you. It's who you are. That's the real secret. That's what they don't tell you in quotes or books or advice. That calm isn't a place you reach. It's the person you become when you stop fighting yourself. And as you walk forward now, remember this: you will never control the waves, but you can learn to surf them with grace. You will never stop the noise, but you can turn it into rhythm. You will never avoid the storms, but you can become the sky that holds them all. That's what it means to stay calm and positive in life, not to shrink from the world, but to expand beyond what it can shake. So, when tomorrow tests you, when the world moves too fast, when emotions rise, when doubt whispers your name, pause, feel your feet on the ground, take one breath, deep, real, present, and remind yourself, I am not the storm, I am the sky. That's your mantra, your anchor, your quiet strength. Let it echo through your mind when life gets loud. Let it remind you that peace was never lost, only buried beneath the noise. You don't need to search for calm. You only need to remember it, because it's been waiting for you all along.